An airline failing to pay its employees leaves pilots no choice but to deliver food to get by, and flight attendants and ground crew set up street stalls to make a living. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it's actually happening at Xi'an Joy Air. My old job was considered respectable by my parents and relatives. When I started running a street stall, I was worried about bumping into someone I knew. But then I thought, as long as you've got the right mindset and you're doing something you enjoy, there's nothing to feel embarrassed about. Being a flight attendant might look glamorous, but many have said it's not as amazing as it seems, and the pay isn't that great either. A lot of airlines are losing money big time. Take Joy Air in Xi'an. It's been exposed for not paying wages and social security for a long time. Some pilots even had to take on food delivery jobs or drive online cars to make a living. To attract passengers, many airlines in China are slashing ticket prices like crazy. Let's talk about what's going on. Recently, several Chinese netizens shared that they managed to grab Hainan Airline tickets from Chengdu to Beijing for just 40 cents on a travel platform, with an additional $10 for airport and fuel surcharges, making the total cost only $10.40. One woman who grabbed the deal said, "I was in the middle of a late-night fight with my boyfriend and decided to book a ticket home. That's when I stumbled on this ridiculously cheap fare. I booked one for myself and then used his phone to grab another. Now that we've made up, we're planning to go to Beijing together." On December 27th, the platform showed that the same January 4th flight had returned to $40. A customer service representative confirmed that tickets successfully issued at the lower price would remain valid. Another traveler shared how they got a cheap ticket from Chengdu to Sanya for just $16. The flight leaves from the remote Tianfu airport, doesn't include meals, doesn't allow free checked baggage, and has strict carry-on luggage size limits. I figured there'd be baggage fees, so I packed all the heavy and unnecessary stuff into my carry-on backpack. Otherwise, my checked bag fee would have been way more than $11. That's probably why they make you check it at the counter, so they can charge you for the luggage. But honestly, with the ticket costing just $16, I wasn't too bothered. After a 40-minute delay, the plane finally arrived and we started boarding. It was an Airbus A320 operated by Capital Airlines, packed with 180 slimline seats, the maximum for this model. At 5'10", my knees were pressed firmly against the seat in front of me. The hardshell seats were as expected, quite uncomfortable. Now, I'm not trying to complain too much. For $16, you really can't expect luxury, and it's great that budget travelers can afford to visit places like Sanya. But honestly, the cabin was in pretty bad shape. The yellowing foam and metal frames of the seats were exposed where fabric covers should have been, and dirt and hair were in the seat gaps. It made me wonder if the low ticket prices had led to cuts in cabin cleaning costs. Flight attendants are often seen as having glamorous jobs, flying around seeing the world and enjoying good pay and benefits. However, one former flight attendant who recently quit said the job seriously affected her health. Being a flight attendant might look glamorous, but it's actually really tough, especially on your health. We work at an average altitude of 4,000 meters, constantly exposed to strong ultraviolet rays that speed up aging. Dark spots, acne, and dry skin are all normal phenomena. I've got spots on my cheeks that started showing up during flights. Frequent high-altitude flight pressure causes our flight attendants to have ear problems. Like me, I often have tinnitus. Even if we don't fly anymore, we still have many after effects. We have to turn up the volume of our TVs and mobile phones to make them comfortable. We also suffer from back pain, cervical spine problems, poor sleep, and endocrine imbalance. I have been car sick since I was a child. When I first got on the plane, I had to vomit every time I took a flight for the first 2 months. I also couldn't eat the greasy flight meals, and later I got stomach problems. The physical hardship wasn't enough. When I first graduated, many trainee flight attendants had to do all the dirty work. It's normal to face blame from others, and I've seen a freshly minted student being scolded and crying on the plane because of mishandling. This ex-attendant eventually quit, saying the pay wasn't great and the industry environment left a lot to be desired. After working for about 4 years, I resigned. After the pandemic, my income dropped too low, just $410 a month. I thought it would be better to do cleaning work, which could earn me $600 a month. Many flight attendants take on part-time jobs like modeling or online sales, and some, like the flight attendants from China's Southern Airlines, even shoot lingerie advertisements. The flight attendant job may seem glamorous, but in reality, it mainly involves serving meals, cleaning bathrooms, moving luggage, and dealing with passengers' complaints. The atmosphere in the industry is also quite negative. Once, during a meeting, our boss said, "The reason wealthy people find you attractive is because of your uniform. There are plenty of prettier women out there, but they still pay attention to you because you're a flight attendant. Without the uniform, what are you? Be grateful for this job. If you don't want it, others would love to take your place." I was really shocked after hearing that. But some flight attendants still have some self-respect. Most just want to marry a rich person and escape the industry. Many of my colleagues, whether older or younger, have taken other people's husbands as their own and ruined marriages. These two used to be flight attendants. The girl on the right worked for China Southern Airlines for 3 years and said that sometimes the company's practices are hard for employees to accept. I have a personal story to share. The airline requires all flight attendants to wear a name tag, and there are strict rules about where it should go. The distance from your shoulder to the name tag has to be exactly 10 centimeters. Since we have to wear an apron during meal service, we're not allowed to wear the name tag at the same time. But during the busy meal service, there's barely any time to check the height of your name tag, and I wore it crooked that day. It was noticed, and I got a correction notice from the company. For the next month, I had to carry a notebook and record every flight I worked, so every time I flew, everyone could see I'd made a mistake and that I was being punished. I was so careful during that time, but I also felt awful. I even wanted to cry while dragging my suitcase. This was one of the reasons I ended up quitting. In the airline industry, once you make a mistake, no matter how small, it feels like you've committed a huge crime. Yeah, exactly. That's really how it feels. This girl's name is Xiao Bei. She worked as a flight attendant for 4 years. During the pandemic, her pay got so low that she decided to quit. She says that people think being a flight attendant is glamorous and that we make a lot of money, but that's not true. On bad flight days, a flight attendant might only make $410 a month, and even on the best days, the most you'll make is about $1,400. We joke among ourselves that as flight attendants, our schedules are completely upside down and we can't get a good night's sleep. If we have an early flight, we have to wake up at 3 a.m. to get ready. On long flights, we might be exhausted and still have to work until 1 or 2 a.m., then drag our suitcases home alone. Sometimes we even deal with bizarre situations on flights. For example, some creepy passengers become your WeChat friends and try to buy you used stockings. It's not the kind of thing you can easily talk about. The rules in the airline industry are strict. If we don't smile as required, passengers might report us, or internal monitors might mark it as a violation. The airline industry is losing money, partly because of competition from high-speed trains. But the real reason is that there isn't enough demand in the Chinese market. In the past, the people could travel no matter how expensive the tickets were, but now they only fly when tickets are cheap. The 4 biggest Chinese airlines, Air China, China Eastern, China Southern, and Hainan Airlines, have the most international routes and wide-body planes. But because international routes aren't doing well, those wide-body planes are stuck flying domestic routes, which increases competition and lowers ticket prices. So why aren't international routes doing well? Because of a worsened investment climate in China, many Western companies are pulling out, and fewer people from Europe and the US are traveling to China. Plus, fewer Chinese people are going abroad too. Many don't have the money anymore, and some workers from state-owned companies, government offices, and schools have had their passports taken, so traveling is harder. Happy Airlines in Xi'an, for example, has been exposed for not paying its staff for a long time. One pilot said that they haven't been paid in 3 years, and many crew members have to do part-time jobs like food delivery, driving online cars, or selling things on the street just to get by. This pilot has been delivering food for the last year and a half. What's going on lately? Pilots are now delivering food and driving for Uber to make extra cash. I heard some airlines haven't paid their staff in months. Some people are behind on credit card payments and mortgages, scared of getting sued, so they drive online car services and deliver food to get by. This situation is crazy. To be honest, who would still want to fly after hearing this? If pilots and flight attendants haven't been paid for so long, they don't even have basic job security. How can they focus on their work? I hope this gets resolved soon. It's crazy that pilots end up delivering takeout. But honestly, this isn't something ordinary people like us can talk about. It just shows how bad the current economic situation is.
只能说啊，现在真是太难了。
Hello， 大家好，我就是那个被行业淘汰。
Hello everyone, I'm that nearly 40-year-old model who got pushed out of the industry and is about to start delivering takeout. I just got my health certificate a few days ago, and today I can finally start working. I'm feeling a bit excited. I've done a few deliveries in the past couple of days to get the hang of it. Besides the chilly weather, it's not too bad, although it's way different from my old job. I'm off to deliver my first order, fried pancakes. A lot of people can't believe I'm doing this, and some even leave nasty comments online. But honestly, I'm not expecting to make a ton of money from this. I need a way to cover my living costs and make sure I can eat 3 meals a day. Plus, I get paid right after each delivery, which is better than just sitting at home doing nothing. China's economy is struggling and unemployment is becoming a bigger problem, especially for middle-aged men who are really struggling. This is putting a ton of pressure on families. A 38-year-old man in Beijing was laid off and secretly started delivering takeout behind his wife's back. When his wife found out, the conversation went viral online. The man graduated from a top university in China, a 211 university recognized by the Ministry of Education. In the video, the wife is cleaning at home when she finds a crumpled piece of paper under the bed. She opens it and is shocked. It's a layoff notice with her husband's name and the company's stamp on it. She realizes he'd lost his job. What's confusing her is that he's been acting totally normal, leaving and coming back at the same time every day without a hint of change. Did he hide it from her on purpose? After dinner, her husband is sitting in front of the computer as usual. The wife, holding the layoff notice, walks up to him. Do you have any work left? We've got the kids' expenses, rent, and all sorts of bills, and the debt. What are we going to do about that? I'll do food delivery. Are you really going to handle all of this by yourself? I can manage. Can you? I'm not mad about the money. I'm mad because you didn't tell me. We've been together for 15 years. Why can't we deal with this together? After the holidays, I'll work with you and we'll figure it out. You always try to do everything on your own. That's all for today. Please remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.